Hello and welcome. Today we are going to be taking a look at a few new and sort of new items. So we're going to start off with the new Surratt Souffle shadows. So they sent me 3 of these in PR. I purchased 3, so I have all 6 shades to swatch for you. And I have to say, it's such a unique formula. It is definitely new to me. I don't have anything like that. And then we're also going to take a look at the ISAMAYA Liplacqs. So this was the original one with the black cap, the 2.0. I have the silver packaging. These have been restocking. So I wanted to share these with you guys for the swatches. I bought them a while back and just never got around to them, but I do really like those. So we're going to be taking a look at those today. And then we're also going to take a look at this brush. So I picked up this brush from Fude Bobo, and if you're not familiar with her, it is a new Fude store. So she's Bayutang11 on Instagram. I'll leave her handle down below in the description box and a link to her shop. I'm not affiliated with the shop, but this is the first time, I don't really have a lot of Kolinsky brushes. I think I have 1 or 2 small eyeshadow brushes. So I wanted to try a foundation brush made with Kolinsky hair. So that's what this is. This is from Tanseido. And, I don't typically use this style of brush either. So I wanted to show you some different applications you can use with a brush like this. And I think it's really cool. So let's go ahead and start with this brush real quickly. So you can see here that it's going to be, fairly stiff. It is intended for foundation. It's very soft though. The hairs are soft, but they're firm. So you don't have a lot of, it's not going to be very airy. You're going to get a firmer, more coverage kind of application. You can see here in the demos, I have one demo where I'm using it with the Suku cream foundation, and this is their new cream foundation. This is going to be a thicker, more full coverage foundation. And when you use this type of brush with that, you're definitely getting more full coverage more easily. So I actually had to take the brush and wipe off some of it because it was more than what I usually get from application with the brushes I typically use, like the Kyoto Fupa 02 and so forth. So just something to note, you will get more coverage with a brush like this. And this style of brush is really recommended more to do a downward motion. That's what I've always been told from makeup artists. I'm not a professional, but so I wanted to try that out with this. And then today I also wanted to use a lighter foundation mix, something more serum-like, but I wanted to use my favorite mix, and that is the Cle de Peau Radiant Natural and Radiant Matte foundations. I like to do a 50-50 mix of those. So I first used the Westman Atelier Contour Stick and Biscuit. So you can see how this brush actually can be used for contour. I always like to do my contour under foundation. Something like the Suku foundation would completely cover that, so you wouldn't see any of it. But this Cle de Peau mix does give you a little bit more transparency. So I did that underneath as a base, and then I used the Cle de Peau foundation mix on top. I think it looks really pretty. I don't typically contour. It's just something that I don't really do very often. If you hear that noise in the background, my dog has entered the room and she is taking a paper clip, not a paper clip, but like one of those huge binder clips. So I'm gonna have to stop and go get her in just a second. But this brush, it does well with the contour. It does well with the foundation. So I want to try it with cream blush and cream highlight as well, and you can see that it really excels with both of those. For the blush, I use the Violette FR cream blush in Ayesa, and it goes on nicely, but what I do find, because of the shape of the brush, I don't really love the way this shape of the brush is just not ideal for a blush brush on my cheeks, so it moves the product there perfectly, and it doesn't disturb the foundation, but I do prefer tapping it out with my finger after that. Cream highlight, I think it does a great job. Just use the tip of the bristles and it's great. So if you've been interested in a brush, either this type of shape or this type of hair, overall I'd have to say it's really a very nice brush. So I like how this performs. I've used some synthetic brushes like this in the past, but they have been a little bit more, they haven't been as firm. So because of that, I think this does give you just a little bit more full coverage more easily than the synthetic brushes. So here is Sadie. I'll give you guys a few update videos on this while we are going through. I'll put them kind of on the side so you can see, but just wanted to bring her in since she decided to come in and say hello. And yeah, she's been doing really well. She loves playing in the leaves. And you know, just one of the things she did that was really funny. I'll play this clip without the volume. So kind of on the side there, but the other day I was editing, it was late at night, and I was sitting in bed editing, and I turned the TV on, which I've done many times in the past. She has no issue with that, but all of a sudden she did not like it. So every time like it was turning on Netflix. So the circling, she saw that, she started barking. She heard the little Netflix noise, she started barking, and then she went nuts. I had to actually turn off the TV. She just did not want it on. I thought it was the funniest thing. But be right back. So let's go ahead and move on to the Surratt shadows. And let me first show you how they come packaged. So I've already unscrewed this, but you can see we've got our Surratt logo on here. And then when you open it up, you have one of the plastic lids. You do want to save these because it will help keep things, you know, moist. But look at the texture of this. So can you see it kind of like wobble? It's almost like Jello. It's like such an interesting texture. I've never seen a cream eyeshadow like this. Let me go ahead and swatch these. So that one that I was holding up was called Cle de Peau. That's what's on my eyes right now, but we're gonna swatch these kind of in the order that I did on my reel. And you can see this is one swatch of color. This is Rose Rev, so this is the pink one. And you can see we've got a little bit of shimmer. Let's go ahead and buff this one out as well. These are really pretty, kind of buffed out for just a soft glistening shade on your lid. So this is Rose Rev, and you can see it's going to be a pretty warm pink with a little bit of pink shimmer in there. So these are all shimmery shadows. None of these are going to be matte. And when you close this, you just want to make sure that you hear that click. So you are truly sealing that up. And then the next one I want to look at is called Ciel Doré. So this one here is going to be like your golden peach. And you can see it's got a little bit of it's a peachy orange, very soft shade there. And you've got some golden hues in there. Very pretty, warm shade. And again, I would say it's more of a soft orangey peach than like a true gold. I really like this color though. I think it is one of those great like peachy everyday kind of shades. All right, so here is Matin Vert. And this is probably my favorite. I mean, it's a green. You've got gold glitter in there. And you can see, you know, buffed out how pretty this is. So it's kind of like a true, like a spruce green. You've got a little bit of blue in there, but it's not an overly blue-green. Yeah, it's definitely not bright or khaki. I think it's a really gorgeous shade, and it's probably my favorite one of these 6. Next up, we have Pluie Mauve, and this one is your purple shade. And I really, you know, I thought this was going to be one of my favorites, but honestly, it's a little bit too much of a pink for me. I prefer more blue-based purples, but what I do really like about this shade, it's a really pretty kind of rosy mauve. And then the shimmer in here, you've got a little bit of a cooler toned shimmer in here. So it's hard to tell exactly what color it is. It almost looks like you've got a little bit of blue and a little bit of silver shimmer in there. I think it's a really pretty color. So this is one that I like a lot as well. But it's just didn't make it to my favorite rank. My other favorites though are going to be the silver and gold shades that they have here. So we have Nuage d'Argent. And this is going to be, here we go. You can see it's kind of more like a silvery taupe kind of shade. This is really more of a kind of like a soft pewter with a little bit of like a warm golden sheen to it as well. So you're kind of mixing a little bit of silver and gold with that. I think it's really pretty. Now I do have to say the descriptions on the website to me, you know, they're just a little bit different than what I think of them as. So this one here is Gris de. And this is going to be really more of a brown. You can see it's kind of like one of those like antique bronze shades. And you've got golden shimmer here. And this is the one that's on my lid right now. And these are the 6 shades. I have to say they're really pretty. So let's move on to the eye demos and we'll talk about the formula. So something that I thought was a little unusual is actually your suggested expiration once opened. And it's 11 months, which I thought was really weird. So I thought maybe I'm seeing it wrong because it is printed pretty small. And so I checked, the box and the package and I magnified it. And yeah, it really says 11 months. So I thought that was interesting. 11-month expiration once open. But I have to say this texture is really cool. So a few more specs. These are going to be made in Japan and we have 6 grams of product or 5 milliliters of product here. And again, we've got 6 shades. So the texture of these, as I mentioned, they kind of feel like Jello. You've got that really bouncy texture to it. I think it's really cool. And according to Surratt, it says it's a uniquely bouncy water-based formula that melts into skin for long-wearing color and dimensional shimmer. So it's really easy to pick up the product. You're touching it. And again, since it feels like Jello, you feel like maybe you're not getting anything up on your finger because you're not really seeing it like indent like a typical cream shadow or anything like that. But you are. It actually picks up very well. It, actually is put down on the lid very well. Now, when you put this on with either a brush or a finger, you're going to, when you start shearing that out, you're going to get a very sheer light wash of color, like the ones that were in the buffed out swatches. That's my favorite way to wear these. If you wear them that way, they are crease proof. If you wear them that way in the crease and then you build up the color on the lid, they still stay pretty crease proof. However, if you build it up on the crease and on the lid, I do get a little bit of creasing. You'll see that in the wear test. And I've worn these for quite a while now. I've tested them, I don't know, probably several days now. And I've tested them with and without primer and so forth because I really wanted to see what that did and how they performed. Today, I actually have an eyeshadow base on the Surratt Powder Shadow and Ombre, which is one of my all-time favorite eyeshadows. So I have that on underneath. And just because I wanted something a little matte in the crease. But I really like the texture of these. I like the way they look. Are they completely 100% crease proof no matter how you use them? They're not, but they're actually very easy to use. They're comfortable. Because they have such an interesting texture and it is that water-based formula, you feel a little bit of a cooling sensation, like an evaporative sensation on your lid when you first put it on. It's not cooling like peppermint, just more so like something wet is drying. And that lasts for maybe like 2 to 3 seconds. It's very fast. These actually, if you put down a thin layer, they will dry and set within a few seconds. And then you can go in with another layer very quickly. So I think that's something really great. And they stay well all day. You can see I've got wear tests with different lengths of time, the longest one being 12 hours. And you can see that they still look really good at the end of the day. So according to Surratt, the silky sheer texture checks all the boxes. It's buildable, layerable, fast drying, non-creasing, and available in 6 stunning shades. Now, as I mentioned, I do think some of the color descriptions are a little different from what I think of. The one that's the most different to me is the Cle de Peau, which they describe as a gray taupe with gold shimmer and a sheer finish. To me, that's really more of a brown than a gray taupe. It's a really beautiful brown and it is one of my favorite. My top 3 shades would be the Nuage d'Argent, which is described as a silver gray with champagne shimmer and a sheer finish. The Cle de Peau, which is a gray taupe with gold shimmer and a sheer finish. And the Matin Vert, which is seaweed green with gold shimmer and a sheer finish. So those are my top 3. The other 3, we have the Pluie Mauve, which is purple with green shimmer and a sheer finish. The Ciel Doré, which is a golden peach with iridescent shimmer and a sheer finish, and the Rose Rev, a dusty pink with radiant pink shimmer and a sheer finish. So I have to say, I think all 6 shades are gorgeous. I would love to see, some more shades in this in the future. And I think these are great. And my dog just stole nail polish and threw it down the stairs. I will be right back. My mistake. That wasn't nail polish. That was a skincare sample. So overall for these Surratt shadows, I have to say, I think they have a really unique texture. I don't really have anything like these to compare them to. I think, you know, this is the first time I've seen a formula like this. I think they are innovative. I think they perform well. I think they're gorgeous. So, you know, I would definitely recommend, if you like the way these look, start with one, see what you think. It's such an interesting texture. I think these are really awesome. So one more time, here are the swatches. And again, since I don't have anything quite like these, we aren't going to have any comparisons today. But this one here, Rose Rev, Ciel Doré. This one here is the Matin Vert. We have the Pluie Mauve, Nuage d'Argent, and the Gris Dew. So really, really pretty shades. I really love these. They are so great for just a quick one and done shade. You can mix them if you want. I think they are just so awesome. So let's go ahead and move on to the lip locks. So ISAMAYA French's makeup line, which is called ISAMAYA, you know, I think she's got some great products and some that just don't really interest me, or just, you know, I didn't love. But the lip locks are one that I think is really nice. These are great, very shimmery glosses. This is the first one. This is the lip lock in Black Veil. And this is one that, you know, sold out. It's come back a few times and it is currently back again. So this one here is Black Veil. And you can see it's kind of going to be one of those sheer black / eggplant shades. There is a little purple in there with some, there's some silver shimmer in here. Now this is moisturizing. It has like a vanilla fragrance to it. It's not sticky per se, but there's a little bit of tackiness in there. And you can see they're ultra shiny. I think they're very comfortable on the lips. And I don't really notice any grittiness. However, if you pile up this shade here, this one is called Metal. This one I do feel a little bit of the grittiness with this. So this is going to be more of your silver shimmer. And this is meant to look more like a super shiny silver. I think this is gorgeous. Right now I have on the Rust shade with this on top. So I've got both on there. But you can see this is going to be more of a silver, cool tone shimmer. And I really like this color. It livens things up. And I think it's a great one for the holidays. And then we have the shade Rust, which is kind of this orangey shade here. Kind of like, you know, it's definitely more orange than peach, but it's kind of like a deep peach. And you've got a little bit of pink in there just to kind of, you know, make it not too golden of an orange shade. So it's a little bit of a reddish orange in a sense, but mostly orange. And then you have golden shimmer in there. So these are the three shades that she has. I have to say, I really love all three of these. I think it is a great formula. I love the shine you get from these. These are great on their own or as a topper. And yeah, I think they're a great product from her line. So let's just sum up my final thoughts. This brush here, this is the Tanseido KF20-8. And this is a Kolinsky foundation brush. I wish I had some other brushes like this to show you, but I did not like I had synthetic brushes with this similar like size and shape, but I didn't like them. So I actually did not keep them. This I think is a really great brush. I love the firmness of it. I love how it applies. For me, this brush, you know, it gives me a little bit too much full coverage with a cream foundation, but I love it with a lighter serum style or liquid type of foundation. I think it gives me the perfect amount of coverage so I don't have to worry about necessarily using a green concealer or anything like that, and green color corrector underneath, and I can still get a little bit more coverage than I would with some other brushes. And this also goes under the eyes very well. It has a great shape for applying blush, contour, and highlight and so forth. So I think it's a very versatile brush. It's definitely, you know, a luxury item, but I think it is such a nice workhorse brush. So I'm very glad I picked this one up. And again, I'll leave Fude Bobo's link down below in the description box. And moving on to the Surratt shadows. Thank you so much to Surratt for sending me a few of these shadows to try. I think these are really awesome. I mean, we haven't seen too much innovation in formulas. We've seen some really great formulas come out. We've seen some that are, you know, really great new formulas, but they're still kind of similar or reminiscent of things you've already used. This, to me at least, is a brand new type of formula. I've never seen something bouncy like this. I think it's so awesome. I love the way it performs, and I love how you can get these very sheer and they perform beautifully like that. I think they're just a great like everyday kind of shade, and you get a little bit of shimmer. So I absolutely love these. Again, my favorites here would be these two here, the Nuage d'Argent, the Gris Doux, and then this one, which is the Matin Vert. And I really think these are awesome. So definitely a winner from Surratt. And then again, the ISAMAYA Liplacqs. I really like these. You know, they are a great shimmery gloss. They're not gritty. As I mentioned, this one, I do feel a little glitter when you kind of build that up. But is it something noticeable as I'm wearing it? It's not. It's just like during that initial application where you're kind of smooshing your lips together. And I can feel a little bit of it with that one. But yeah, I think overall, great products. So I'd love to know if you've tried any of these, what your thoughts are. And I do have a Surratt code for a discount on your purchase if you're purchasing anything. So I'll leave that down below in the description box and flash that on the screen here. And don't forget, they will be having, you know, Black Friday will be starting soon. So, and Surratt has international shipping now, by the way. So if you weren't aware of that, that did start a few months ago. It's now more accessible from the Surratt website. But the Surratt Souffle shadows are also available at Beautylish. So definitely some great options here. So please share your thoughts down below in the comments. I hope you enjoyed seeing some little Sadie clips. She's absolutely loving the fall weather. You know, she's really picky about going outside in the morning when it's cold. She doesn't like the wet grass on her feet. So she sits on the deck and kind of just looks out for like 20 to 30 minutes before she'll venture in the grass. And then, you know, she ends up loving it after that. But it always takes her a while to kind of warm up and get down there. But now she is just going nuts with all the leaves. We have a ton of leaves in our backyard and she loves playing in them. Fetch is kind of her favorite game and she's pretty good at it for a Shiba. You know, Shibas and Huskies, they're not really known to bring the ball back too often, but she's pretty good about that. She loves, you know, kind of losing it in the leaves and then having to look for it. And sometimes, you know, if I'm busy or the kids aren't around or something, she will go to the basement by herself. She'll take a ball and she'll just kind of like drop it and let it bounce and you know, kind of play fetch with herself a little bit. It's so cute. So thank you so much for kind of sharing these memories with me, and I'll see you very soon. So have a great day and thanks so much for watching.
Come here, Sadie. It's not bad. She's not scary. Come here. She just didn't like you eating her.